Cheesy intro for the win. Those are my favorites. So I need a little bit of consistency for editing purposes. If you know, you know. So welcome everybody back to my 32 fan series where I'm talking to all 32 fans from all 32 NFL teams. So obviously, I feel like we're always in the same spaces, some way, shape, or form, whether we're in a chat, whether we're on a panel, whether we're not on a panel, or whether we heard a thing or we're on the Twitter or whatever. So for me, I'm like, hey, so that's how I feel. However, I know a lot of people won't know who you are, so I'll let you introduce yourself. And just to let everybody know, this is recording at the beginning of the May. George Pickens just got traded officially today. So just to let everybody know where we're at. So if something else happens that we don't talk about, it's because it didn't happen when we were recording. So just FYI. Also, Dave is going to let us know whenever the Nuggets come on. So you might see him start looking around and looking down. He's watching the basketball game. He has my 100% support for that because that is necessary. So anyways, now that I've given this whole spiel, let us know who you are, what you do, where people can find you. And just so you know, I'll link all your stuff in the description box as well.
I'll just be taking a look at the box score every now and then. But thank you for having me on Really Flawed. I'm David. I love talking Broncos, and I also have a channel, David Talks Buffs, for all the college football stuff. And thanks for having me on here. Like, I'm very excited. You know, we did this around this time last year.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that we got a lot to talk about. You know, I feel like our teams are – well, we got our quarterback. I don't know about y'all, but, you know, we're there.
I don't know what we got. I don't know what we got. And some reason people still believe in us. It's the craziest thing ever. I don't know. So I think also, do you like college football more than the NFL, or do you prefer NFL over college? Do you have a preference?
NFL.
Okay.
I like, you know, it's entertaining being a part of the just levels of toxicity that are just college football in general.
Yeah.
But usually the NFL is just more about the NFL, you know,
Cleaner.
more
Yeah,
about
it's a cleaner game.
And I appreciate that. You know, college football, there's and it's not just Colorado, it's with a lot of teams. You know, you're mad at these 18-year-olds, you're mad at the coaches, there's drama, there's rumors, there's cheating, there's all this stuff. It can wear me out sometimes.
Yeah, I understand that. And yeah, I agree with everything you just said. So touche. And the business side of the NFL keeps it cleaner, I feel like, because there's a business, everybody knows the business, it's cleaner. So I appreciate that. So how are you feeling after your 2024 season where the Denver Broncos make the playoffs? We don't have to talk about their playoff game, but they make the playoffs, have a great season, look phenomenal, rookie quarterback, right? Like all of the things that kind of dreams are actually made of. How are you feeling after the season? And then I would love to know if you have a song that kind of describes how you feel like last season was.
Yeah, like we're still riding on this this high. That's how I feel. Because again, we got our first quarterback that's, you know, worth a damn since Peyton Manning, and we made the playoffs. We knew we were probably going to get blown out, but that's okay. We're no longer associated with the New York Jets in any way, and we were very close to their playoff streak, or their streak of not making the playoffs. So feeling wonderful. We got a great young core, a great young defense that we added to as well. So they should be even better. And we got Bo Nix. So I would say that the song that I'm thinking of is kind of a song, you know, where you're just talking a lot of shit, to be honest, which is I am a God by Kanye West. You know, that's how we're feeling right now with the players that we got. You know, we've been underestimated. We were memed for drafting Bo Nix, you know, the sixth quarterback in that class. You know, we were memed for trading a first-round pick for Sean Payton. We were memed for giving him like the highest salary in the NFL reportedly at that time. And what do you know? We're a playoff team, and I'm calling it. We're going to win the AFC West this year.
Let's get there in a second, because you know I'm going to talk to Law for Kansas City. So I'm telling you this now. So I will allow you to kind of get ready to say something. So in a moment, when we get to the question, that is your time. Okay. So that's your moment. Okay. And then, so that happens. Then free agency. How do you feel like you all did in free agency? Were you feeling confident in free agency? Like, how are you feeling like, because I feel like you guys started at a rebuild. Now you're contenders. Now it's like, what's that next thing? So how are you feeling they did in free agency?
Yeah, this reminds me a lot of, I think it was the 2014 free agency that we had where we brought in TJ Ward, Aqib Talib,
Ah,
and that was just incredibly helpful for our 2015 run. If I'm
okay.
remembering the years correctly, it might have been 2015, but I thought it was 2014. Anyways, that's
Close
how I
enough.
kind of felt
The
going
point is
after
still the
these
point.
Niners players. Yeah.
Okay.
Talanoa Hufanga, he's going to be an awesome safety. We got Dre Greenlaw, who even on
I
a
love
torn
Greenlaw.
Achilles, he's so much better than anybody that we've had. Again, some people might say, hey, those guys were hurt. Whatever, who cares? We actually invest in our training, in our nutrition, and we have been one of the least injured teams throughout Sean Payton's tenure here in the
Hmm.
NFL. The Niners, they don't really invest in it like that, and it's paying dividends. So if you're acquiring a player from the Niners, I would just say don't worry about it. Everybody over there gets hurt to where there's something going on, and that's how it was for us before our new ownership came in and Sean Payton. So I love those additions. Absolutely love Evan Ingram coming out here. We needed a big slot guy. He's going to be great. So I'm feeling very good about where we're at with the linebackers, where we're at with our safeties.
Okay.
Because PJ Locke, I love him, but he's probably best to be like that next safety off the bench rather than a starting safety. He had a really tough last month and a half of the season. And the offense, didn't really make a ton of signings there. We need some more juice. We kind of addressed that in the draft, but
Mm-hmm.
getting a tight end was huge. I think we had the worst tight end room in the NFL.
Yeah, you said
And
that.
now we kind of need a running back or more running backs. So we'll see, how all this goes outside of RJ Harvey. We'll get to that. It's kind of a big question mark, but
Yeah.
feeling much better about where we're at, like as a team.
Okay. So the draft happens, and I know
Yeah.
that you all are the Denver Longhorns.
Yeah.
So we all know who you picked first.
Mm-hmm.
But how are you feeling going into the draft? Did you know who you wanted them to get? Were you concerned? Like, what were your thoughts before the draft?
So I'm not really somebody who locks in. Like I have my favorite players, but if they decide not to draft that player or pass them over and address that position in another way, like I'm not going to be upset.
Got it.
Like I
Okay.
wanted them to address. There are a couple things I wanted them to do. I wanted them to get some juice on offense, some guys that can score touchdowns. We've
Okay.
really lacked that from the running game. And two, I wanted them to take advantage of this very deep edge and defensive line class in
For the
this year's
draft.
draft.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
they did those things. They didn't exactly do them with the picks that I thought they would, because I think with Jahdae Barron falling to us at 20, that just changed the whole strategy. But I think like overall, I'm giving our draft a B grade. It got kind of weird on day 3,
Okay.
but it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah, it is fun. Do you have a favorite draft pick or a least favorite and a least favorite draft pick?
Okay, well, a lot of people have been crapping on Pat Bryant on that pick.
Okay.
He was somebody that I said on another show I was on that he would be a great mid round sleeper pick for the Broncos because he doesn't drop passes. He had like a 1% drop rate at Illinois. And
That's
he
pretty
just
good.
seems to be very clean out of his breaks, a very explosive athlete, but just he runs in the he ran a 4.6, I think, which is fine for like a big 6'4", 225-pound guy. Like,
Right.
that's fine. He's not going to be running go routes. Like we're having him be a possession receiver. So he's somebody that's going to get a lot of catches for us over the middle with those quick slants or those 10 to 15-yard dig routes that we run a lot. So
Yeah.
big time playmaker. He had 3 game-winning touchdowns this year for Illinois. So I really like him. There wasn't any pick that I like straight up didn't like, but I will tell you probably the most bizarre one, and it's not drafting the punter in the 6th round because we needed to do that. We didn't have a punter. I thought that was coming. It was our 7th round pick, basketball player, Caleb Lohner. So he has played, I think, like 4 or 5 years of college basketball as like a power forward. He's like 6'7". He tested very, very well athletically. When you look at his RAS score, he's right up there with a lot of the tight ends that went on day 2, early day 3.
Wait, has he ever caught a football before?
Well, get this. So he played for Baylor, then BYU, and then transferred to Utah for basketball, where their coach, Kyle Whittingham, convinced him to play football as well. So he had 4 catches this year for Utah. All 4 of them went for touchdowns.
That's so random.
Yeah.
Okay.
And get this. So I don't know. You'll have to go back and vaguely remember this, but he caught one against CU where he boxed out DJ McKinney for like a 3-yard jump ball and just made him look like he was like 5'5". I mean,
made
DJ
him look
McKinney's
tiny.
6'2".
He did.
Tiny.
Yeah.
So it was that guy, and that was his shortest touchdown catch of the year. He had one for 11 yards, and then 2 of them were 20-yard touchdown catches.
I kind of like where this is going.
So,
okay.
Yes. So he's a basketball player. He, I think, averaged like 3 points throughout his career, but he can jump like crazy. I think he had like close to a 40-inch vertical as a 6'7" guy. So it's just ridiculous. So we called that the Sean Payton bong hit pick because sometimes at the end of drafts, he just gets kind of weird. But there was intel from my friend Zach Seegers, who was at Dove Valley, the headquarters, on day 3, that they did have indication that Caleb Lohner was going to be selected later on in the 7th if they didn't pick him, primarily because of his testing at the Big 12 Pro Day.
Yeah.
So that's why we drafted him.
Okay. I like, and who knows, right? It's a 7th round draft pick. Like,
yeah.
Whatever.
So it's going to be fun to watch. My friend Kodiak, he did a film breakdown looking at his basketball plays as a joke, but some people didn't get it. But yeah, I just think it's fun. He's a basketball player, and he's got 100% touchdown rate on all of his catches. So it should be interesting.
Crazy.
I think he will make the roster, though, because the back end of our tight end room is just that bad. I could see a guy who's just learned to put on football pants a year ago, make this roster.
He can figure it out. He can figure it out. He's big. He can figure it out. Yes. So, okay. So here comes the question. Here's the moment. Okay. Mm-hmm. What is your realistic expectation for the 2025 season for your Denver Broncos?
Well, I'm not saying that this is the floor. I'm not saying this is the ceiling either. But as opposed to the Chargers, we got a third place schedule. So that's nice. We still came in third place in the division. That's going to be major with us going 12-5 this year, a 2-game improvement. We got a 2-game improvement last year with a rookie quarterback and a seriously flawed roster with no run game. And so now let's just win 2 more games. I think 12-5 this year, because it is going to be a gauntlet in the AFC West. I think that can get it done. What's successful this year? It's getting to the playoffs and winning a game. That's like what's very important. It's there are levels to becoming a championship team. We experienced our first round blowout last year, so now let's go ahead and get our win, and then it's just house money after that.
I love it. Okay, do you want to talk trash to the Chiefs fan or no?
Oh, well, the thing with the Chiefs is that, they've had to let a lot of great talent go. And I mean, we'll see.
Okay.
I think they're a little bit more one-dimensional than they've used to be. And they let some very important players go. And for some reason, wanted to pay Nick Bolton all that money when he can't cover anything. So I think this is the end, whether it's with the Chargers or with the Broncos. This is the end of the Chiefs winning the division every year. I don't think that's going to happen.
Crazy. Somebody tweeted after the Super Bowl, what if I told you this was the last time we're going to see the Chiefs in the Super Bowl in the next 10 years? And when they tweeted it, I was like, here we go, being dramatic, right? But then it kind of happens like that.
Yeah.
Right? It's like one team goes on a run and they go on the run and it's pretty steady. And then something wonky happens. They get blown out in the Super Bowl. And then it's like in 3 years, we're going to be going, remember when? So I don't know. I mean, I don't know, but I could see it. Stranger things have happened.
They had backup players hitting free agency this year that got like $15-18 million contracts with other teams. Like, they're not going to be able to replace the depth that they've had in just one off season. And I mean, we'll see if they fix their offensive lines. We'll see if Josh Simmons is him. We'll see, you know, what else they're doing at the interior line, if that's going to work. But they are no longer an unstoppable force. Finally.
I like it.
Okay. And you could see the writing on the wall when we went into Arrowhead with a rookie quarterback, and we were just a blocked field goal away from getting our first victory in Arrowhead in such a long time, man, since Peyton Manning. But you could see there were cracks. Yeah. When you're losing to a team or about to lose to a team at home like that, you know?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, when I saw that tweet, I was like, gosh, people always do the most. But as I've started thinking about that is how it happens. It's like everything's look great. And before you think about it, somebody's going, what's the Chiefs have, you know, or it happens to everyone. It seems like. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, because I don't think the Eagles are going anywhere. So
the Eagles could very well repeat. So
yeah. Okay. So what is one underrated or overlooked player that people need to pay more attention to? Or it could be a position group.
Yeah. Great question. An underrated player that people need to be paying attention to. I'm sick of him getting crapped on. And honestly, it's Cortland Sutton. A lot of people will talk about him as not a true number one wide receiver. And I don't care. He's been fantastic for us. He doesn't create any drama. He's never complaining when he's not getting the ball. I think he has set the tone when it comes to having an egoless offense. I know that sounds really strange probably to a lot of NFL fans, but like, we have very good vibe, very good chemistry. A lot of like former team captains and stuff like that are on this offense. And Cortland Sutton, he's going into a contract year. You know, he's 30 years old now, so he's coming towards the end. I don't know if he'll get extended, but you know, he's done a very good job at developing chemistry with every crappy quarterback that he's come here. And, you know, he essentially, you know, had a career year or the second best year of his career with a rookie this year. And I'm expecting them to build on that quite a bit. Like, he's a winning player. He makes plays in the clutch for us all the time. I don't think he'll ever be appreciated to the level that he should be because he kind of took over for Demaryius Thomas, who's like our best receiver in, you know, franchise history. But yeah, I like him. And what was the other part of your question?
No, I said or position group. I said player or position group. So that works.
Like, we got a lot of young players in the receiving room that I think it's very clear with the fact that we didn't sign another vet that we want to see him take another develop and take another step, which I hope happens.
Yeah.
But Cortland Sutton allows you to take those chances because he's been so reliable.
Fair. Yeah. And like I said, sometimes the consistent guys, slow and steady, no drama, no anything, is just going to show up and catch the football. Sign me up for that. That's great. So, and then what hot take do you have about the Broncos that other Broncos fans probably would not agree with you about?
Troy Franklin's good. We drafted him in the 4th round last year out of Oregon. It looked real rough. He had a lot to clean up when it came to his route running. Needed to add size to that, 6'2", 6'3" frame that he has. He had trouble like tracking the ball from Bo Nix like multiple times to where the ball would be in the air and he just like couldn't find it. It was rough for like those first maybe 2/3 of the season. But after that, I mean, he really started to settle down. He was the one player that made a big play against the Buffalo Bills, with that like 50-yard touchdown there to start the game. I really do like Troy Franklin.
You like him?
And
Okay.
again, he led the NFL in yards of separation per route last year. Like, he had the highest average of yards of separation. So
It's
he can,
interesting.
yeah,
Yeah.
he can separate. And can he find the ball? That's gonna be the question. He can get open. Can he find the ball? Now he's got to
Does
catch
he
it.
need LASIK?
I don't know. Maybe he needs to go the Jameis route. But I like Troy Franklin. Right now, I think that we'll see how Pat Bryant looks. But I think right now our starting wide receivers are going to be Cortland, Marvin Mims, and Troy Franklin. But I think Troy Franklin, he can be that Z receiver. You can move him around a little bit. Marvin Mims plays that role really, really well. But it would not shock me if Troy Franklin was the second leading receiver on this team this year.
Okay.
I'm going to straight up say it.
I like it. Yeah. Listen, if you can find the football and catch it, like, kudos to you.
Get open. Step one, you can do that.
Yeah. So my last question, and then we'll talk a little bit about the Colorado Buffaloes for a little bit, is if you were GM for one day, what would be the very first move you'd make?
Sign J.K. Dobbins, baby. That is what we need right now. We need another running back, because right now it's going to be Audric Estime as our second back with R.J. Harvey. Estime was deactivated for that game against the Buffalo Bills, which was like a huge shocker for us. It didn't really make any sense because he was honestly our best, most efficient back on the ground. But that has been like a talking point of all offseason of like, why did this happen?
Yeah.
And we haven't signed a running back right now. So maybe everything's good.
They fixed it.
But
yeah.
That did not instill confidence. J.K. Dobbins, you're signing him to play 10 games. That's fine with me.
Right, because is he getting suspended?
No, he's just hurt all the time. But when he's healthy, he's playing great.
Who is the running back that's waiting for suspension?
I have no idea.
I can't remember. At this point, I mean, who knows?
But here's the thing with acquiring J.K. Dobbins. It's going to be very strange because the Chargers, of course, they got Omarion Hampton, Najee Harris, and then they also drafted Rocket Sanders, who's another big bruising back like that. They will kill you. Their running back room is a nightmare to deal with. But they also put an unrestricted free agent tender on J.K. Dobbins, which means until like some date in August, if a team signs him, they will be compensated with a 7th round pick next year in next year's draft. But if nobody signs him, he will be tendered for like $3.25 million and be back with the Chargers, or they'll have that option to sign him. They also have the option to match, I'm assuming, because it is a tender. It very strange. So if we want to sign J.K. Dobbins right now, we need to give up a 7th round pick to the Chargers, which is like, it's good gamesmanship on their end. Very annoying because we definitely need a running back. Yeah. But I just recorded a video before this. The Broncos should get 2 7th round picks as compensatory picks for next year because of free agency. So let's just use one of them on J.K. Dobbins.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting how the NFL works with that. With like, I always, because people get so confused. I'm like, think of the draft capital as money. Think of it as like first round draft pick is $1,000, second round, like, and then people are like, oh, like if you think of it as actual money, it helps make sense to understand like what's going on.
Yeah.
So
I mean, what are we gonna do with those picks? Like draft more basketball players? You know?
Yeah, might as well go get a player. Might as well go get a player.
Yeah.
So Colorado Buffaloes, how are you feeling just overall? I don't know if you have a season prediction yet. I would love to know your thoughts just on how you're feeling. What do you like what you see? Are you getting re-excited? Or has it been weird for you without Shador and Travis? Like, what are your thoughts on Colorado Buffaloes right now?
People will be mad about me saying this, but I'm glad that we knew what was going on with Travis and Shador. Like we wanted to win in a certain way. because it was very important when you got athletes like that they win awards. It's important to me that Travis Hunter won the Heisman. It is absolutely important to me that he won the Heisman. I'm glad that there's just going to be one focus, and that's just the team and hopefully winning games. That's so, I got to say, like, I think that, Shedeur, Travis, them going to the NFL after 2 years, that's just the right time. That's just the right time for it. That's how I feel about it. And let's see what this new group can go with. But I like the additions that we've made to the starting offensive line. It's hard to keep any sort of depth of offensive line in college football. So it doesn't surprise me that we've been in flux there. Defense, I feel fine about. I think we'll be a good defense. And the offense is the huge question mark. We got a lot of talented wide receivers. Are our quarterbacks talented enough to get them the ball? Are we going to run the ball? We brought in a top 5 running back in the country in this next year's class for a visit. And I was saying on that video, we need to have like 1,000-yard season with a running back.
Hand the football off.
Yes. So are we going to run the ball? We got 2 running backs right now. One of them's like 5'8", 170 pounds. So, right now I would say I'll probably find my way back to like an 8-4 prediction like I do every year. I just do. But right now we're probably more like a 6-win football team.
Yeah. I said 6-6 as soon as the season was over, and I was just assessing what we're losing.
Yeah.
And now I'm at 6-6 after I saw the spring game and after I'm seeing kind of how this is playing out. So, that could surprise me. That's fine.
Yeah.
Is there any game, and this is the last Colorado question I'll ask you, and then I'll get into the overtime so that you can go watch your Denver Nuggets. Is there any game this year that you're kind of flagging in your brain to go, okay, I'm actually kind of fascinated to see how this game is going to go?
Chiefs, it's how we play the Chiefs. They are the standard, and until we knock them off with Patrick Mahomes playing, that's like the next level. That's like the boss that we're dealing with right now, and you can't get to the next level until you beat the Chiefs. That's how I feel about it. So
they're in the way. You got to slay that dragon.
Yeah. Like, again, we beat them to get into the playoffs in week 18, but they didn't play their starters. They were dealing with Carson Wentz. Now we blew them out by like 40 points or something like that. That's what you should do against bad teams, right? But we had so much to play for. Those guys, maybe Carson Wentz had another contract to play for, but it wasn't going to amount to the level of desperation that we had. But I cannot wait. I cannot wait to play the Chiefs because we now got a better defense than the Chiefs. We can beat them at their own game. There isn't one position where we're weak at. And now say, okay, you don't want to throw at Pat Surtain. Now you got to deal with Jahdae Barron. Are you kidding me?
I'm so happy for him.
Me? Yeah. And we led the NFL in sacks last year. Don't forget that. So we're going to be – and we didn't lose any pieces on the defense. We only got good pieces. We only got better, whereas the Chiefs got worse. The Chiefs better have that offensive line figured out because if there's one team in the AFC that can replicate what the Philadelphia Eagles did against the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, it's us. And we now have that joker on the defense in Jahdae Barron that can just change everything, that can make it all click. It's the glue that finally makes all the pieces work together. Jahdae Barron, Thorpe Award winner.
Hook 'em.
Yes, hook him. He's going to be amazing. Now, I don't know what number he's going to choose. We got number 7 retired.
He doesn't care.
Stones, he should ask for it. He should at least
But
try.
You know what? He doesn't care, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
He changed his number in college. So
that's
he wants to play football. Like, he's one of those guys. I'm sure he cares. I'm sure he cares, but I don't see that being a thing. But if he does go get that number 7, I will be shocked, actually.
Those are the guys that we bring in. We just bring in guys who are obsessive about football, and it's kind of there's no extra sideshow to it. It's just guys who like to play football. I got a question for you though.
Yeah, what's up? And then we'll get into our overtime.
Yeah, that's
Four
okay.
questions. Go for it.
I need to know, how do you see this Cleveland Browns thing
Mm,
going? Do you buy that this was just an Andrew Berry analytics process on just trading up for the highest guy on
no,
their board at the time?
no, I don't. I think they traded up to save face. I think they traded up so that they can be like, well, we traded up to get him, because you don't go get Dylan Gabriel and then go get Shador. That makes absolutely, no matter how you slice that, look at it, whatever, that makes no sense at all. Like
No sense.
none.
No.
And then but I think what happened is, I've said this, I think I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't use Shador for a trade piece. I have a theory, and my theory is, if Shador plays a ton in the preseason, that is going to tell me that the Browns want people to see what he can do and what he can bring to a team. And they're going to try to see if they can trade him for draft capital. That's what I think. Because they have 5 quarterbacks. I think the other, though, piece of that is, if he does exceptionally well and it just looks better than everybody else, then he will get the starting job, right? It's like high risk, low reward. You can risk it, get a lot of draft picks or whatever. Because the thing I know about the Browns is the organization does things that don't always make sense. So I'm just thinking of things to me that like don't make a lot of sense. And it doesn't make a lot of sense to me to trade down to go get Dylan Gabriel, then to trade down, and then to go get Shador Sanders. You now have 5 quarterbacks. I don't get that. If you say one's not playing, okay, but you brought in Shador to be the 4th one when you could have just taken him 3rd, but you chose not to.
Yes.
So that's why I'm like, the lies are trying to spew. You know how I feel about these people too. Like they just lie. Like I mean, Omar Khan was like, oh yeah, George Pickens, he's been working on stuff. We talked on it, but I'm like, all right, I knew then. I'm like, oh God, this guy's probably leaving. Because they just lie. And so yes, I think they're lying. I think they're absolutely lying. And I think they're going to see what Shador can do. Is he going to be phenomenal? Is he going to be great? Is he going to like catapult that team to be great? Then he can stay. But if he's like good but not great, can you imagine though? Like, think about a team that needs a quarterback, i.e. Steelers, but they see Shador Sanders just light it up in the preseason, and then their quarterback goes down with like an ankle or an ACL or whatever, and you can bring in Shador. He can be your guy for 4 or 5 weeks, and then your guy comes back, and then you have Shador in the wings. Like, it's perfect. It's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see.
I just hope Hard Knocks goes to Cleveland. I don't know if them doing the AFC North thing in season last year like knocks them out of that, but
yeah,
I either want there or Jacksonville. But yeah, like I know how this is. You know how it is. Following the Buffs, rooting for the Buffs since Prime's been. It's all there's fans and then there's cult members. And the cult members, man, we had that experience with Tim Tebow out here. I don't know
if okay.
And that's why, like, I don't know if I've ever said this on my Buffs channel. We'll see if this makes it back on the internet. But I was so relieved that the Broncos picked a quarterback last year, because I can't deal with the small portion of the fan base, the cult members just infiltrating both of my teams and just trying to push like all these insane agendas that just don't make any sense.
Well, so it's actually funny if you said that, because people started blaming Mike Tomlin for not taking Shador. They're like, it's Mike Tomlin's fault. It's Mike Tomlin's for like racism. And I'm like, so you're going to attack a coach of a football program because they didn't want to take your guy. You're calling racism, but you're shitting on a black coach. Like, what are we doing? You guys, come on. Like, Mike Tomlin deserves respect. Stop doing that. Like, and I don't know. And it could have been any coach. Like, these coaches are doing what they think is best for their team. Now, do I think there's a little shady business going on? Well, yes, NFL. Like, they do shady shit all the time. So I'm not saying the NFL is not shady by any means. I'm not saying that. But they get to choose who they want in their club. Whether you like it or not, they get to choose. I don't understand why people don't get that. So it is what it is.
There's no way he falls out of the first round, I think, if Drew Rosenhaus is his agent. But
that's the other thing. I think what should have happened as soon as BYU game is over, they do whatever. The very next day, I think Shador should have announced he signed with Drew Rosenhaus, and then we start to sever. And then he goes and does his NFL thing, and he whatever that looks like for a quarterback, And yeah. And they train him, they get him ready for the conversations and for the workouts and for the, if you want to do them private, fine, but let's get you ready for them.
Yeah.
This is what they're going to ask you. You need whiteboard help. I'm not saying he does, because some people hear that. They're like, he knows how to read. I'm just saying, when you have an agent, though, the agent should be coming out and defending him right now, but there isn't one.
Yeah.
And that's the problem.
There's no spin. There's no incentive for there to be any other perspective right now. And
because
like
nobody
when
else
Bo
is a part
Nix
of it.
prepared for his interview with the Broncos, his install, he didn't sleep the night before. He was like pounded caffeine, like coffee, did not sleep.
Who's his agent?
Man, I don't know.
And again, I'm sure his agent was like, this is what, you know what I mean? And that's the thing, like Shedeur didn't have that. That's why when people are like so in arms, I'm like, we have to start placing blame on the right. Everyone could have done this wrong.
Yeah.
Prime's not above reproach. He should have gotten his son an agent. Let's just call it what it is. Like, he should have gotten his son an agent immediately, and he should have removed from it, gone on and coached the Buffs, and let his son go through the process how it was going to happen. Yeah. I think things would have changed, because let me tell you something. Nobody wants to deal with Drew Rosen, like, if it's not working, or, you know what I mean? Like, he would have been like, like a piranha. Like, anyways, so I think it was a huge miss. And I think Shedeur paid the price, just like Shedeur paid the price behind that offensive line for 2 years, just like he paid the price with that offensive scheme for the past 2 years, just like I can go on and on with this. My point is the same point. Like, at some point, the adults in the room have to say, we didn't do this right.
Sometimes you just got to say, Daddy, I'm not going to wear your big baller shoes anymore. I've had, 2 season-ending surgeries because of that, if you're looking at Lonzo Ball. But I think it's kind of one of those situations where, you could have benefited from some outside guidance. And it's going to be fun to watch. I'll tell you what, though, can't wait. I'm thrilled it's not happening to my team, because I would hate a quarterback controversy like this. Absolutely. And we'll see. Shedeur, he is going to have to not only beat Dillon Gabriel, he's going to have to blow him out because of the lower draft capital. And he needs to lock in like a level that he has never had to do before. And that's going to be the real question is he truly going to be able to lock in? Like, how much does he want this? He's got all the talent in the world. But yeah, like the few sources that I have that are connected to CU, I heard the same thing about the lack of prep for the meetings and the board work. And
I heard it too.
So if that's how it's going to go, his career won't last long. But if he truly takes this as the opportunity to lock in, he'll be collecting the rest of those quarterbacks on like infinity stones, baby.
Easy. Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yep. And that's what I always say. Rookie mini camp is one hurdle for him. I want to know what he's going to do in June, beginning of July, and then in training. Because it's easy to do it for 3 days. It's hard to do it over that period of time where most people are on vacation, living their best lives or whatever, because you're not there yet. You got to work. You got to work. Go get some receivers and get to work, go get your coaches and get to work. And then that training camp is grueling. And I know that but a lot of people don't know training camp is brutal. It's brutal. Like it's hard. It's hard on the players. It's hard on the players' spouses. It's hard on the coach. Like, it is hard, and it will make you crack if you don't really love it. And I just hope, and I'm not saying he doesn't love it, all the things, but he's got to have to work for it. I mean, he's right now the 5th quarterback. If you take away Deshaun Watson, he's the 4th. So that means limited reps. That means, it is what it is. He might have
maybe 2 or 3 reps at most to start OTAs if he's not ahead of Dillon Gabriel.
Right. So and then the other thing that makes this worse is both him and Dillon Gabriel are going to be at the rookie mini camp, because they're both rookies. So even that, he's not going to be able to get like all of the reps. So anyways, I hope, and honestly, I hope in 5 years he's laughing at the NFL and he's signing his probably $300 million deal at that point, because it'll be, in probably 5 years, that's probably where we're going to be. So
if the Cleveland Browns are going to find a franchise quarterback, it's going to happen in the most Cleveland way possible. And that is so I'm rooting for him to be successful. If there's any quarterback that can go into a bad situation and help change the culture, it's him, right? So
definitely him. I'll give him. Yeah, I
I'll be
agree.
rooting for it, and yeah. But hey, maybe the Steelers should be on the phones to Cleveland at the end of preseason, right?
I may or may not feel like they might be an option depending on how he plays. Because right now we're just stocking draft picks. So
I'm about it. I'm about it.
So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I won't. Yeah. Anyways, so let's do this overtime round real fast. So these are just the 4 questions because I'm a nerd. And overtime, 4 downs to score a touchdown. Like, this is so cool. And then when I say that out loud, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so cheesy. But anyways, it is what it is. So which division rival do you love to hate the most and why? I think I know the answer, but
Chiefs right now because they're on top, and they always love to employ allegedly domestic abusers and just total
idiots.
POSs. So I don't like the Chiefs. I don't like what they stand for. Even though Pat Mahomes is a stand-up guy, his family sucks. So the Chiefs are very easy to hate. Chiefs are very easy to hate right now.
Okay. If you could change one thing about your franchise, it could be anything: ownership, stadium, uniforms, anything. What would it be?
It's looking like this new stadium, most likely right now, is going to be out, I think, towards Castle Rock or Lone Tree. It's going to be south of downtown Denver. I don't like that. I wish that when the Walton Penner Group acquired the Broncos a couple of years ago, they acquired the stadium too from the city. So that's a huge issue right now. Again, you're paying $5 billion. You should probably just get the freaking stadium too, but that's not how it works. There's a lease. I think it's up in 5 years. It'll probably be extended for a few more years after that, but they want to rightfully have their own stadium. I think sports should be downtown. You got the Avs and Nuggets over at the Ball Arena, just a close walk away and a short walk away. And then you also have Coors Field downtown. So the Broncos have always been downtown along with the rest of Colorado sports. And I would hate the idea of them going 30, 45 minutes south of downtown.
Yeah, that sucks. I hate stadium day traffic and all that.
Yeah.
If you could pick one player from your team to swap with a player from another team or from your rival, who would that be?
Ooh, who would that be?
I think I know the answer for this, but I don't know who you should give to them.
Oh, man. Dude, honestly, I would take a wash Travis Kelce over anybody we got right now. Like,
just swap them all. Honestly, just swap them all. Except for the basketball player.
Evan Ingram's good too, but I mean, Travis, actually, now you got me thinking because we also got Brock Bowers. I'll take Brock Bowers because he's the new Travis Kelce that we have to deal with in the division.
Okay.
And we've just always dealt, whether it's been Antonio Gates or Tony Gonzalez or Travis Kelce. Now it's Brock Bowers. We've always had these amazing tight ends to deal with, and it has given us so much trouble over the years. So it would be nice to have one of our own. Evan Ingram's a nice consolation prize, but he ain't no Shannon Sharp.
Yeah, well, I'll leave that one where it's at.
Yeah.
So the last question I have is describe your team's fan base in 3 words.
Just no, I'm trying to not have generic words, but
you're trying to access your
surprise.
Smart
I'll
words?
go with entitled.
Ooh, okay.
We are an understanding fan base. I'll say that too. We're understanding. We're die hard. Broncos fans. This is like their top team. Like, there is no other. That's how it is in Denver. It's the Broncos. 90% on the radio. Everybody else gets the 10% to fight over. But we're understanding of what's going on. We're understanding that we can't be amazing every year, but we are entitled the fact that most of our fans have watched 2 of the best quarterbacks to ever do it play here. And there is a high bar for quarterback play here in Denver. We will not settle for average. We will not settle for below average, no doubt about it. And we will always take swings to try and get that quarterback position right. We will never be scared to draft a quarterback in the 20s just because Paxton Lynch was a bust. No, we will find a way. We'll take the 6th quarterback off the board. We feel like he's good enough. So we're entitled in that way.
I like that. I wasn't expecting that, but that makes sense. And you're right. Like John Elway and Peyton Manning, like, I mean,
the bar is high. The bar has always been very high here. And, it's not the New York media, but this media and fan base will eat you up if you come in talking a big game and do not deliver. Russell Wilson wasn't the only one. Jay Cutler came into the league talking about how he had a stronger arm than Elway, all this sorts of stuff that did not go well with the fan base. So, we were sad to see him go, but this is mixed emotions with Jay Cutler.
Yeah, good old Jay. Oh, man. Anyways, anything else you want to share with us? Anything else that I didn't ask that you wanted me to ask or that you want to talk about that we didn't touch on?
Well, we drafted a punter. We drafted defensive line with our we got another 3rd-round pick after Pat Bryant, Savion Jones. He'll be a beast. He'll be in the rotation immediately from LSU, as well as an edge rusher, Q Robinson from Alabama. Our pass rush, which led the league in sacks this past year, got even better. It got even better. So y'all get ready for it. It's going to be a long day for Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, and Geno Smith this year. We're coming after him.
What an interesting division. I am fascinated with the AFC West. Yeah. I'm fascinated. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm fascinated. Yeah.
And I honestly love what the Raiders did. I love it. Like, Geno Smith isn't a sexy quarterback, but his numbers indoors is so much better than outdoors. And I didn't know that. Okay. Yeah. Like if you go look at his splits playing indoors to outdoors, he's like a totally different level of quarterback. And I think that was similar to how Jared Goff would perform with the Rams. And you see that he's kind of had a second wind to his career, no doubt about it. I think that they're expecting something like that for Geno Smith as well. So it doesn't surprise me that they passed on all these crappy quarterbacks in day 2 and day 3.
I like it.
Tyler Shuck and all those guys. Yeah.
I have no words for that. I don't know. Maybe Tyler Shuck is going to, I don't know. I don't know what to do with that one.
Yeah.
I just don't know what to do with it. So anyways, well, I appreciate you as always for talking to me, collaborating with me. I know your Nuggets are on. I know it's very important to you, so I will not keep you any longer.
I didn't even look at the box score.
You didn't? Oh my God, I'm so proud. You know what? I feel special. I feel honored that you didn't even look, but honestly, thank you so much. I'm sure we'll chat again. And I appreciate you.
Let's chat before the season starts. If you're doing a series for that would be a lot of fun.
I feel like every time I do these, people are like, "Why don't you do this?" I'm like, "You schedule the people. You reach out to the people. You put the people," and they're like,
"No, like I said, I've been bad at putting the stuff together. I'm just the ideas person, which is the worst. I'm all talk, no action."
Well, so that I don't mind it, except when it gets to a point where I'm like, I feel like I'm bothering. And once I feel like I'm bothering, it's like, I feel like I can't give it what I want to, because I feel like now I'm annoying. So anyways, I appreciate you. We'll talk.
Absolutely. That sounds great. Right. Thank you again so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. You are